Okay, let's see how many people are watching. Give me a second to also share the link with our WhatsApp community. Um, uh, okay, let's see. We're waiting for people to join. You can see up here on the left how many people are watching.
Where?
It should be on the screen. At least I can see it as a moderator. No one has followed yet, has joined yet, but
Wait.
let's wait 5 minutes or so.
Well, I don't know. I made a couple of promotions.
Mm-hmm.
People must have joined that follow me. But I didn't see a link in the Eventbrite. So maybe they don't know.
No one's joining yet. If no one joins, I guess there's one person. Hi there. How
Hello.
are you? Hi, let us know where you're calling from, where you're joining us from today. So we still have one person. Okay, we can wait a bit longer. I mean, it's up to you. We can always reschedule as well.
No.
If we get enough people, it's completely up to you.
Let's wait some more.
Okay. Okay, 2 people now. 2 people. Okay, better than nothing.
That's Web3 right there.
Yeah, I guess per copies. Yes, per copy delay. uh, uh, yeah, I think the current market is not that great.
No, certainly not.
I think we can just go ahead since it's being recorded. Maybe we can just make it a bit shorter. What do you think?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I can start. It's if nobody's going to join, just upload it and whoever wants to watch it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you very much. So, Van, the stage is yours. Just make sure to share your screen.
Yep. I think you can see it.
Let me see. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. So let me begin. My name is Ivan Alexander. I'm a Web3 cybersecurity researcher. I have placed in several competition top places, and I want to place this year. I want to place first many times, and that's my goal for for this year. I'm also a marketing specialist, and I have a page with over 1 million followers. That's just like a side thing I am trying to do, but I want to expand that as well. So today's presentation is going to be how cybercrime happens in tokenization, how Web3 cannot develop without cybersecurity in mind, and how we should implement cybersecurity and where the opportunities will come with the implementation of the cybersecurity. So let's first start with some statistic. We have the on-chain cybercrime as an evolving challenge, and it destroys trust and it prevents wider adoption. The whole thing that stops Web3 from developing is the wider adoption and all of the hacks, all of the scams, all of the fraudulent projects that I'm going to talk about, which just make Web3 look like a big scam and make Web3 look like it's going to decline, it's going to fall. It makes it look bad. So let's see how much money were lost from just malicious actors, from phishing attacks, which, if you remember, there was this guy Malone that stole some crazy amount of money. I don't remember how much, but he stole a lot of money. He was like 21. He started posing for Instagram and he got caught, which is a lot of bad attention to Web3 again. We have impersonating scams. He used kind of a phishing attack, impersonating scams, something like that. We have pig butchering, which is basically when the attacker grooms the target for a very long time and extracts a lot of money out of them. We have address poisoning, which is just basically sending a small amount of money to the victim, so the attacker appears on the top of the transactions list, and the attacker hopes that the victim sends him money and mistakes him for someone else. Usually, the attackers try to mimic an address that they know the victim is sending transactions regularly, and they try to mimic that address as close as possible. Like there are only 2 or 3 symbols that will be different. And we have 6.4 billion for 2024 lost only to malicious actors, which is just a crazy amount. We have fraudulent projects, rug pulls, honeypots, Ponzi schemes, malicious airdrops, static code signature, just fraudulent projects further demolish the trust that users have in Web3. And there are 1.1 billion lost actually to fraudulent projects. We have technical exploits, which I'm currently trying to prevent. And all the white hats in the space, we're trying very hard to stop the black hats, which are the hackers. We have smart contracts exploits, bridge hacks, wallet designers, malware, access control, and man-in-the-middle attacks. So basically, the technical exploits only cover for 1.2 billion. As you can see, the malicious actors and the phishing and the impersonating scams are the most devastating. Why is that? Well, you can audit code and you can make the code work, and you can make the code actually really secure, where only a few people would be able to notice there is a bug. But when it comes to people's personalities, the phishing and the impersonating, it just works better. So for cybersecurity in Web3 to evolve, we need to fix all of these three things to put trust into the users. Where Web3 specific risks come from? Well, we have the smart contract infrastructure, which introduce invariants, which introduce reentrancy risks. We have operations where the attacker might not at all target the smart contracts. They might target the front end. They might target the AML. We have cross chains attacks where fraud, spam might happen. Spam usually happens when the attacker is trying to cover that they're going to do an attack, so they confuse the monitoring system, which protects usually smart contracts, and they try to bypass it. We have account takeovers. We have breach exploits. If breach exploits happen, zero-day bug. This is a bug that hasn't been discovered yet. Zero-day vulnerability. If a breach exploit happens to a really popular breach, well, I can say a lot of protocols will be wrecked immediately. We have Oracle staleness, compromised private keys. This covers the client's customers. Usually in Web2, again, most of the smart contract infrastructure is completely. Web2 doesn't have that. Web2 doesn't have the cross chains. Web2 only has operations and clients, customers that they need to protect, which they do very well. But Web3, with its complicated nature, it's much harder to actually protect from attackers. So here is the traditional security and risk practices and how they are not compatible with tokenized assets. The Web2 approach is incident response before settlement. What that means? That means if, for example, now Alice tries to withdraw $100 and for some reason the app flags that her account gets banned and she might get unbanned when she contacts customer support. However, on-chain, that's not the case. If the smart contract hasn't implemented some type of type lock or admin function that releases the money, we have instant settlements, which basically makes attacks much easier and much more widespread, as the attack can be repeated many times before any action is taken. We have reversible transactions, so if Alice actually steals those money, and the money is still in the app, an admin can call back, block the account and call back the money. However, on chain, that cannot happen. Once the money is inside a wallet, it can stay there forever. We have firewalls, encryptions, and other protection methods that Web2 usually implements, which further help the customers. However, on-chain, we have interconnected networks where an attacker can usually view what I like to call the backend, which is the smart contracts, and the UI. So they can reveal the patterns that users have. They can review the patterns that the admin has. For example, we have some type of liquidity and admin needs to call deposit or borrow every now and then. He can scout for patterns, and he can really precisely make his attack and harm the system as much as he wants. So tokenized assets and overall smart contracts need really extensive auditing and live threat detection to reduce hacks, which brings me to how AI can help with the attacks and how it won't. We have autonomous real-time threat detection, which is basically the AI scanning the mempool for any type of suspicious transactions. We have predictable vulnerability modeling, where you can just make the AI explore the contract, tell you where the weak points are. That helps security researchers to actually see where they can attack. We have invariant identification. First of all, invariant is, for example, we have 8 tokens. 8 tokens at all times must be higher than B plus C. That's an invariant right there. So that AI helps with invariants and where they can be broken as well, and with phishing prevention. But they help white hats, but they can also help black hats. So the black hat can use AI for the exact same thing, but for a different purpose. They can use it to steal tokens. They can use it to do better phishing. They can use it to autonomously detect real-time transactions and when they can attack and when is the best opportunity for them. And AI really just opens the specter. Since 2026, actually, we have seen at least 5 major attacks on protocols, and most of the top security researchers think AI helps with that. But we also see on contests, on private audits, AI to find more and more bugs, which recently it found $100,000 some custom AI. So one security researcher built his custom AI, and it found a bug that paid him $100,000, which is really cool bug. So that brings me to my next point: how monitoring prevents all of these AI attacks, all of these attacks that can happen because of the nature of Web3, the decentralized nature. Well, monitoring is actually the golden standard because it stands just on the bridge of Web3, but it cannot enter Web3, and it's at the same time uses all of Web2 best technology. We have pre-transaction gates, real-time monitoring, high precision detection, and adaptive defenses. So the pre-transaction gate, what I love most about it is that it can simulate outbound transactions. So for example, a transaction is scheduled, and before it's executed, the AI, the monitoring system executes that transaction with the current balances, for example, that the contract has, and it just sees what is going to happen. And if some invariant is broken, then it can pause the contract, it can immediately alert the developers, and action can be taken. We have real-time monitoring where after the execution is executed, or before that, we just define and enforce risk metrics. We detect anomalies, so if anything strange, anything out of pattern happens, it's going to detect it and people are going to notice. So the attacks can be stopped earlier. We have low value, high frequency events, high value, low frequency events where we just monitor high precision events. We want to monitor explicitly some kind of the system, and we're not sure about and we think might get hacked. And we can implement adaptive defenses where we automatically respond to the on-chain event in real time, like I said. Where opportunities will be captured in tokenization? Well, we have a lot of opportunities coming up, especially with AI and especially with just how many hacks are happening. We're like in the 2000s where Web2 was developing, so many opportunities for so many things. So this is I compare it to the 2000s of when Windows was developing and somebody needed to develop systems around it and help it grow. So there the opportunities can be caught. For example, we have issuance platforms. This is specifically for tokenization, where we have corporate actions automation, cap tables, and monitoring. The corporate actions automations is, for example, to distribute dividends like 6 months. For example, dividends must be distributed every 6 months or just in the first 6 months. And it's just an automation, so it deletes the user mistake that might it deletes the human mistake I meant to say. So it also breaks the cap tables. We also have custody and key management, where recovery workflows are implemented. We have compliance rails where KYC is needed everywhere now, so it will be needed in Web3, which I don't think everybody is going to implement it, as the whole idea is decentralization, but I have seen a lot of platforms already implemented it. We have whitelists, which helps companies develop whitelists. The opportunities are just endless. We have marketing infrastructure, data and Oracle, security and monitoring, where I would like to point out the most interesting of them, which is, for example, I think the oracles actually are I was thinking which might be the most interesting. I think the oracles, the pricing of the oracles might be the most interesting one, because as we implement more and more tokenization and more things get tokenized, we will need constant oracles to tell us what the price is going to be, for example, of that house every minute. So when a user wants to burn his shares and get out some liquidity, they can get a live oracle feed. I think that's actually the most prominent service that you can offer, as I have seen how oracles that just dictate, for example, the price of ETH and USDC, how important they are to every protocol. And if one oracle breaks, the whole system can be gone. A lot of money can be stolen, so it's really important, and I think there is a lot of opportunity there. And what security performance metrics and what investors and chief information security officers care about? Well, they care about the loss and exposure first and foremost. They care about what you can prevent as a loss, what is the estimated value by your blocked controls, that is, for example, for monitoring. What's the was rate that of the TVL can happen if, for example, your monitoring doesn't work or your service doesn't work. It can be any service that actually protects their contracts. It can be, for example, a protocol that's connected to their contract that implements some type of it implements some types of restrictions. What's the exposure at risk, what's the blast radius if the protocol gets hacked, and what is your service going to stop, what's the control effectiveness, what is the block rate of malicious transactions if you are doing monitoring, what is the coverage and fuzzing if you are doing fuzzing. By the way, I'm also part of the White Hat's Recon program, great tool for fuzzing. I just wanted to mention that as I actively use it, and I think more people should know about it. We have limits violations caught, we have control bypass attempts detected, we have resilience and recovery, which they also care about much, the MTTR, which is basically how fast you respond in a case of an emergency. What's the time to patch the emergency? What's the time to pause the contract? What's the time to rotate back to normal? What's the recovery drill success rates? How likely are you to fail? The speed in which you can react as in what time you can react and bring back, for example, the lost tokens. And finally, the financial efficiency. What's the cost of control and versus the loss prevented? So generally, they care most about how you protect their contracts and how you will help them for not getting wrecked and not losing a lot of money, which will just wreck them in front of the community, and they will lose their reputation, which will cost them their protocol. So security is really important because of that single thing that I just said, that if you get hacked only once, everybody loses trust in you. If the funds don't get recovered, users will be really angry and they will not join any further contracts that you make or anything. If you recover the funds, they will be skeptical to join. So effective measures will help the contracts more than ineffective measures, as for the money that investors and overall developers spend on security, that money returns by triple or by fifth after that. So I think security is the future of Web3. It's the backbone, and yeah, that's it. That was my presentation for today.
Thank you very much. That was very, very insightful. Thanks everyone for being here with us this evening. We'll be following up with a link to the recorded live stream, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you, Ivan, and thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.